Welcome to the Amazing Authorities Podcast, where game changers, visionaries, and category leaders share how they built their brands, platforms, and global influence. Your host is Mitch Carson, international speaker, media strategist, and creator of the Instant Authority System. If you're ready to learn from those who've done it and want to become the go-to expert in your space, you're in the right place.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have Joshua Muthukumar. And yes, it's a tongue twister, but he will not twist you, I promise. He's going to wow you with his passion for his book and his belief, his Unshakable Foundation in Christ, hence the title of his book. And we're finding out that he is selling this book in India right now, as well as the US, as well as Singapore. He's done very well with this. Joshua, welcome. And I'm going to turn over a lot of the discussion to you today because you're in the summit talking about your book and what it's done for you, who has written the book, and tell us more about you. Welcome, my friend.
Hello, Mitch. Hi, Oni. And hi, ladies and gentlemen. I'm from Singapore, and I had this passion of writing this book because I share the same passion. I was inspired by my pastor who has a passion for Christ. And that's another thing that I must mention, that the person I got for my foreword in my book was my pastor. And I was under his ministry for years and years and years. And I grew under his ministry. So as I just mentioned, that I was inspired by his passion, and now I share the same passion as him. Yeah. So for my book, which is Unshakeable Foundation in Christ, aligning spirit, soul, and body. For my book, I focus on spiritual fitness, and most people they associate fitness with the body, but it is also very important to for the soul, which is the mind, will, emotions, to align with the spirit and connect to God, the higher power. And also in my book, I have spiritual exercises at the end of every chapter. There are 10 chapters, and at the end of every chapter, there are spiritual exercises where I encourage my readers to do the exercises after they have read the chapter, and the exercises are entitled Takeaways and Reflections, and the other one is Make It My Action Steps. It is very important that we make it personal, not really take action, but make it personal and experience the unconditional and unmerited favor of God. Let me also share with you a case in point. One of the best-selling authors in our group bought my book from Amazon and shared with his non-Christian friend who was in depression. That friend of him read my book and diligently did the exercises. He also read my case study of multiple miracles that I stated in the book. And within the 10 days, because there are 10 chapters, within the 10 days, he came out of depression. Yeah, so I would say that it is very important that we connect our spirit, our mind, will, emotions to God, the higher power, experiencing the unconditional and unmerited favor of God.
Let me ask this, Joshua. That's an incredible story.
Yeah,
And
sorry,
what
and
I like
forgot,
about, what
I
I
forgot
like,
to mention one thing, which is within the 10 days, he came out of depression and he is now leading a victorious life. Yeah.
okay, that's fantastic. What I was going to ask, or I want to ask is, what I noticed about your book, which I went through, of course, and
Yeah.
read certain components that jumped out at me, was you are a Christian. Many people who would read it would be Christian, but the lessons apply to anyone in any religion who just wants to better their life, is what I like about it.
Yes. Yeah.
And what chapter will be great for somebody who's suffering? Like, what was the particular chapter that gripped this individual that you're referring to that was in a depressed state? What did he do specifically?
Okay, you're referring to the friend of the best-selling author I mentioned?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, actually, he read through my book, and my multiple case studies that I mentioned in the book, and he diligently did the exercises, both the exercise as takeaways and reflection, and make it my action step. So within the 10 days, he was already out of depression. So so I believe that because he took action and made it personal to himself, so that's why I believe that he got out of depression even within the 10 days. So for life transformation within 10 days is quite a bargain.
Yeah, I would say so. And he's
Yeah.
been spiritually fit. Now, there's a lot of discussion about that topic of being spiritually fit. Does that, and you say, yes, it's different than physically fit. What are some of the, what are the observations of being spiritually fit?
Okay, as I mentioned, it's okay. We have the soul, which is the mind, will, emotions. It's important to take control of it and not to wallow in the circumstances that a person is in, and how to control it is to connect it with God, the higher power. So I believe that taking control and connecting with God, the higher power, gives the person the experience, or the person personally takes an experience the unconditional love and unmerited favor of God, and also the person develops the right beliefs, in his heart, which is the spiritual heart I'm mentioning. So that way the person can live a victorious life.
Well, that's great.
Also, what you mentioned is spiritually fit. So person can be spiritually fit in that way. Yes.
And what brought you to write this book? What was the inspiration?
Okay, as I mentioned, firstly, is I was inspired by my pastor's passion, and I had developed a passion of myself. So when I wrote this book, I was the passion was to share with people the on spiritual fitness, and as I mentioned, that I see most people, they fall under they follow under the circumstances and all that, and so I thought I address this, and I share with people how to be spiritually fit, and also go through I went through my personal life journey so that they can associate with it with their life, take it personally, and in their life journey, they can do the same things I did, but also doing the exercises at the end of the chapter, and have the same results as me in leading a victorious life.
Okay, great. And how long did it take you to write your book?
Oh, okay. Actually, it took me quite a number of years, because I'm visually handicapped, low vision, and I see I have a big screen monitor, computer screen, and have enlarged software where I only see letter by letter, not the whole word, letter by letter. So it's very slow for me. So every time I have a thought of the what I wanted to write, I put it down. And that time it was not even, I was not even writing the book properly, because I was just putting down the points whenever I got the points. So it was only in I believe August last year, when one of my sister's friend called my sister and introduced the course conducted by Mitch Carson. He's also a best-selling author and well-known speaker. And so my sister immediately remembered that I'm trying to write a book myself, and told her friend that let my brother do the course. And so she then relate this to Mitch, and explain to him about my low vision, and I'm slow in writing and all that. And Mitch kindly agreed that I was given extra time to complete writing the book. Yeah, so I appreciate that Mitch was kind and patient with me so that I could complete the book.
Well, it's been my pleasure to work with you. And I got to go to your birthday party when I was in Singapore. I got to meet you face to face, which is nice. And we have a continuing relationship. You've already achieved in America on Amazon.com bestseller status. We got that done very quickly, and we're continuing to market. Now you're becoming very popular in India, which is interesting. I don't know, a Singaporean man now becoming popular in India. I don't know. Sometimes the world works in strange ways. Maybe one person referred to the other, and I think there are Christians everywhere. I mean, it's largely a Hindu country, and then there are Muslims, but there are a certain amount of Christians that want to learn what you've gone through, and it's just interesting how it's all worked around. Maybe that's God's work. I don't know, but you're becoming quite popular in India with your book sales. And it's come in recently, unexpectedly. So it's fantastic to see that your hard work, and anything's possible. I mean, you're quite an inspiration. You've had some health challenges. I won't say problems, health challenges, because of your vision challenges that you've been able to work through and improve. And you have now participated. You're in part of a summit. I was so happy that you're part of this, to share even people that aren't be able to work as fast as others can complete a book. You've been quite an inspiration to
Yeah.
me and to others of what value there is in sticking to the plan and staying. You saw that goal, and I think that's your unshakable foundation of faith, and you've been able to do that. What are some other examples in the book? Do you have other people who've benefited after reading your book? And I know you've got your pastor who inspired you initially.
Yeah, actually, the previous thing I mentioned about the best-selling author buying my book for the his friend, that review is in Amazon itself.
Yes.
And yeah, and also there in Amazon and also in my book there are reviews where other people they were inspired and they said that they I wrote I explained step by step, and it is an interesting reading for them. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's great. And what is next? Are you planning on writing any more books, or are you going to take a break and kind of feel settled with where you are? What's the plan for you, Joshua?
For now, I believe that to concentrate on the marketing of this book, but of course I have in mind to write a second book, but I have not started on it yet.
Yeah, well, let's continue. This has still got a lot of life in it. It's not one and done. You know, this is where I want people who are watching and listening to us during this time to understand writing a book is just the beginning. That's one step in the process. A lot of the work or commitment is what you do to spread and market, how you get referrals, how you get reviews. A lot of people have reviewed very positively your book. I don't think you have anything other than 5-star reviews. There are all sorts of sites which will review your book now that it's out. Now that you have 10 reviews, they'll consider it for more reviews, and more people will buy it, download it, and it creates that expansion. So you've done that, and you did something very smart that I want to talk about, because you followed the roadmap of success in that you and your sister, Usha, pursued the pastor to write the foreword. And I want to talk about that because that's an important point to address with first-time authors or even seasoned authors, because the first published book I wrote, I selected a friend versus a strategic partner. And you strategically, very intelligently chose your pastor with a big follow. Now, it achieved a couple things for you. First, tell me what you took away from that, why you selected him, and what it has done for your book sales in Singapore.
Okay, because I have been sitting on this ministry for years and years and grew from his ministry, and I also know that himself he was a stutterer and stammerer when he was in school, but later as he took control of his mind, will, emotions, and connected with God, the higher power, as I mentioned. Now he is a very good speaker and very good and anointed speaker. So and his passion for Christ. So I developed I took it from him, and I developed the passion for Christ, and now we share the same passion. So that's why I was thinking of, if I ever write a book, I wanted my pastor to write the foreword. And I'm thrilled that he agreed to write the foreword for me, even though he himself is a very busy person, and he's a bestseller of many books now. And I'm even more thrilled that when he read my manuscript, he did not do any corrections. So I believe that I wrote accurately. Yeah.
Well, that part, yes, you wrote very well. I went through it and I thought it was very well written,
Yeah.
easy to follow. Like I said, it's not limited to people who are into the Christian faith. The title can almost be it's Unshakable Foundation in Christ and in yourself.
Yeah.
For some people that may not be in the same, have the same belief system, you got to believe in yourself to start, and whether that's God's assistance or not, that's a different discussion. But you gave great takeaways in the book to apply to anyone. Somebody that might be of a different type of religion can apply these principles. But I want to talk a little bit about why you chose this pasture and why that was a smart move. And oftentimes authors overlook the importance of finding someone who has influence to write the foreword. It's a strategic move. It's a strategic, because anybody that sees their name on a book is going to buy it. And people who respect the person who wrote the foreword, they're going to buy it also, because they're going to want his or her input. And you did that very intelligently. And using the power, you followed my direction. Find a strong person with a following that you believe in. You didn't pick somebody that talks about dog training. That's a different specialty.
Yes.
And that was what worked for you. And I wanted to recognize it. You followed it to the letter. You've been a great student of understanding how to use that wisely. And now you are a bestseller in America on Amazon.com. You're going to have this kind of, and it's with you for life. You're now a best-selling author, and that'll make it easier for you when you write your next book at a later date. But we'll continue on the marketing path, getting more reviews, more sales. I have a suspicion that India might sell more books. It's just interesting how it went over there, and people are buying out of India. I don't understand it, but it's working. So let's keep going. And Joshua, any final words for people?
Okay, before I go to final words, I just also let the viewers know that in pages 67 to 71, I have stated my life journeys, the blows I had in my life, and how at one point that my blood pressure went so high that I despite taking blood pressure medications, it refused to come down to normal. Yeah. So how I took charge or took control of my soul, my mind, will, emotions, to connect with God, the higher power, and how I overcome this and experience this victorious living now. So that is in page 67 to 71.
That's fantastic. Well, I'll make sure that people identify that, and they'll know how to get in touch with you in the resources section for all the authors. And Unshakable Foundation in Christ, your author here today, who shared with us his experience, strength, and hope, and what he did in order to make this happen and to fulfill his dream of writing a book, which he did. And it's not just a book, it's a best-selling book. And that's Joshua Muthukumar. Joshua, thank you for coming today.
Can I just say the final words? I encourage readers to get my book, and not just reading it, but slowly read it chapter by chapter, and also please do the exercises, the takeaways and reflection, and make it my action steps, so that they can also experience the unconditional love and unmerited favor of God and lead the victorious life. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Joshua. You have a good day.
Thanks for tuning in to the Amazing Authorities Podcast. If today's episode inspired you, take a moment to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. It helps more experts like you rise to the top. For behind-the-scenes access and free resources to boost your authority, head to MitchCarson.com. Until next time, stay amazing.